telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
I'll be back.
How's it going, Royal Ugly Dudes?
I must break you.
Game over, man. Game over.
Welcome, everybody, to the very first episode of Be Kind Rewind with your host, Tim Nydell. I totally almost said Saturday Morning Rewind, which is the podcast I've been doing for 8 straight years, probably 8 years and about 4 months now. Man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That I'm on here doesn't make that any easier.
Exactly. I am joined by my, my co-host for this episode, Gary. Say hello to everybody.
Semi-regular co-host on Saturday Morning Rewind. I'm Gary. Hello.
That's right. You can follow me online. It's at Tim_Nydell. And Gary, what about yourself?
And I am at the real Gary Lane on Instagram.
No, are you really real, though? That's the question.
Hard to tell over the internet.
It is. No,
I could be catfishing you.
I've met you a few times. Well, like I said, this is a new show called Be Kind Rewind with Tim Nydell, and it's so new that we don't even have a proper intro for it quite yet, but hopefully soon, maybe even when you're listening to this right now, maybe you had an intro. I don't know what's going to happen to the show, but I'm excited to see where it takes us, because this show is going to be all about going back, as I do on all my shows. Saturday Morning Rewind is all about my childhood, my cartoons that I loved, the voiceovers, the actors that I loved as a kid. This show is going to be just that, but it will include everything that I remember loving as a kid. It's going to include music, it's going to include movies, all that kind of stuff. And so I just figured Be Kind Rewind was a perfect fit for the show.
It seems on brand. Yeah.
It does. I think the word rewind, I think it appears on the website quite a few times.
Yep.
So yeah, and the website I'm talking about is my new website. Just go to timnydell.com. That is my personal website. You'll find all my YouTube videos on there. Find my show videos. Saturday Morning Rewind is on there. A lot of cool stuff, so check that out. And check me out on YouTube. I'd really appreciate it. Just type in my name, Tim Nydell. So Gary, what are we talking about in this first episode?
Well, I think we're going to talk about a band that you often actually bring up on Saturday Morning Rewind. Even,
I do.
Which is understandably so. I know are they your favorite band of all time?
It goes back and forth. I would probably say yes, still. They probably still are. Yeah. Even when I was a kid, of course we're talking about the Eagles, a band that I'm assuming most of you have heard of. If you haven't, I don't know if I want to be friends with you or not. I mean, you can say what you will. If you don't like them, that's fine. I can understand that. I can kind of understand that. But I'm sure you've heard of the band called the Eagles. Gary, I'm sure you have, right?
I have.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So we're going to be talking about the Eagles in this episode, and we have a very cool interview that I did with Don Felder from the Eagles. Now, he was the lead guitar player from 1974 all the way to, when was it? When was he?
I think it was 2001.
Yep, I think you're right, 2001. So lead guitar player for those years, and let me tell you, this guy, without Don Felder, honestly, I personally don't know if I would like the Eagles as much as I do. I think he really gave a lot to the band that a lot of people don't really know about. People hear about Glenn Frey all the time and Don Henley all the time, and you don't really hear the words Don Felder when it comes to the Eagles.
Yeah, and I mean, he definitely exists more during the second half of their career, which I think is what you like more, correct?
Correct, yeah. The more rockish, because early on in their career, they were more country. Right. And I do love a lot of the songs they did in those times, because it really had a country twang to it. It was still rock and roll, Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I didn't really dig too much of the banjo music on some of their older. Now, I do appreciate a lot of them, but right. I really gravitated towards the rock sound of the Eagles, and that was brought on when they brought Don Felder into the group.
I can appreciate that. I feel like I started out, I'm not really sure what was the first Eagles song I heard, but I like both of their existences, the banjo years and the non-banjo years, but I don't know which is more special to me. It's hard to say, but I'd probably lean towards the later stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's all amazing stuff. And I was looking up earlier today, and because for years they've been going back and forth with Michael Jackson with the highest selling album of all time. All right, you knew that, right, Gary?
Yep.
Which is an amazing thing to have on your resume. And looks like the Eagles is still number one. Michael Jackson is still number two. So number one is the Eagles' greatest hits. Guess how many albums it's sold?
Oh boy, I can't even venture a guess. I'm sure it's a massive number, though.
Yeah, okay, 38 million.
Wow. Okay.
Here's the funny part. It keeps going back and forth with Michael Jackson's Thriller, and it looks like something must have happened as of late because Eagles are killing it. Michael Jackson is second with 33 million. So there's a 5 million difference there.
It's pretty substantial.
Yeah. And guess who holds the number 3 of highest selling albums of all time?
I feel like I've heard this, but I can't remember. I don't know. Lay it on me.
It is actually the Eagles again.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, with Hotel California.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which Don Felder had a huge part of, let me tell you that. And so we're going to be right back after these quick messages from our sponsors and going to be talking to Don Felder about his childhood, about his introduction into the Eagles and all that kind of stuff. So we'll be right back.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us.
All right, welcome back to... I totally almost said it again. Sorry to everyone. Welcome back to Be Kind Rewind with Tim Nydell. And like I said, I have a very special guest for this episode. One of the greatest guitar players of our generation, Don Felder, who was part of the Eagles for a great many years from the 70s until early 2000s. So without further ado, here is my interview with Don Felder from the Eagles and his solo career.
Hey Tim, it's Don Felder.
How are you doing today, buddy?
Are we still there?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, just trying to get these new AirPod Pros to work, you know. But yeah, they're working pretty good right now, so we're good.
Okay, if there's ever a moment you need to have me repeat myself, just let me know.
Okay, I will do. What did you say? No, I'm just kidding.
That's a good one. All right. So before we dive into your latest album, which, by the way, I picked it up, and I think it's your best solo work ever, honestly.
Wow, thank you so much. I kind of feel the same way. A lot of times, your newest stuff you're so excited about because it's new, and then you look back and you go, well, wait a minute, I wrote some great stuff before, but this stuff is new and fun and exciting, so I get it. It's,
exactly.
Something that's new and fresh is always, good for me.
Exactly, and we'll talk about that more later, but our show is all about going back and kind of reliving your childhood. I do that by interviewing, people associated with cartoons that I loved, or even musicians such as yourself that I adored growing up in the early 80s. And what kind of childhood did you have? Were you always interested in music as a kid?
Well, I didn't really discover music. My household was always full of music. My father played music in the house after work till he actually got in bed and went to sleep. He would play Benny Goodman and Tommy Dorsey and all the big bands, Lawrence Welk, all the big pop. It was kind of his era of music, so it was going on all the time. And when rock and roll hit, I remember seeing Elvis Presley on the Ed Sullivan Show. I think it must have been the mid to late 50s or something. And he was gyrating, and he had his greasy hair flipping, and his lip was snarled, and all of these young girls were screaming at him. And I went, that looks like something might be fun to do. I think I want to learn to do that. So my favorite uncle had given me as a hidden gift when I left South Carolina. He'd given me this little box of cherry bombs, and my brother and I used to go out and blow up these cherry bombs and then run back in the house so that no one would know who was making all the noise. And the kid that lived across the street from me saw us doing that. He came running over. He wanted some of those cherry bombs, so I traded him a handful of those cherry bombs for this cracked acoustic guitar he had in the top of his closet, and he never played. I think his parents gave it to him, and he just never got into it. So he ran back over and got that guitar, gave it back to me. I gave him the cherry bombs. About 15 minutes later, he was out of cherry bombs, but I had a guitar.
Awesome.
Now, our family was very, very poor. I mean, literally, we were right next to destitute poverty. Not maybe 1 foot inside destitute poverty, but pretty dang close. We couldn't afford music lessons. There was no music store in town. We couldn't afford to buy a guitar, so I just, found a way to get one. And I remember riding my bike around the neighborhood and hearing somebody play an acoustic guitar. And found this guy sitting on his front porch 2 or 3 blocks from my house, and he was playing this song called Wildwood Flower. And so I asked him, I said, I've got a guitar. Would you show me how to play a little bit? So I went back to my house, got it, brought it over. It was missing some strings. He told me I had to go to the drugstore, which had guitar strings there. They're sort of a miniature version of Walmart that had everything. So I went and bought the missing guitar, and he showed me how to put them on and tune it. And he taught me this song called Red River Valley, which was a very simple, easy song to learn. And I remember sitting on the front porch of our little white clapboard house and with a tin roof that my father and my 2 grandfathers built with their own hands.
I used to sit on this metal glider. It was like a swing that sat on the floor, and I would slide back and forth on that glider after school, trying to figure out how to play Red River Valley and practicing. I would listen to Buddy Holly and I'd listen to Elvis Presley and try to figure out how to make those chords. And eventually I started learning how to play some chords so I could play those songs. And by the time I got to be 14, I put together a little band called the Continentals. And in this band was a guy named Stephen Stills. We were so young, my mom used to drive us around to play these like little women's tea parties.
Yeah.
different little events, a teen time dance and stuff like that. No alcohol or anything like that involved. And Stephen was in that band, the Continentals, with me for about a year and a half. I think he finally left when he was, 16 or 16 and a half, and moved to California. So very shortly after Stephen left, a guy picked me up at a bus station. I had gotten on a Greyhound bus by myself at 15 and a half, and went up to this little place called Lake City and played for a Little Women's afternoon tea service, and where I'd just sit and play acoustic guitar and sing. And I got back on the bus and came back, and my mother was supposed to pick me up at the bus station, but this other guy comes walking up and goes, "Are you Don Felder?" And I went, "Yeah." "I'm Bernie Ledden."
Oh, man.
And Bernie had just moved to town because his father was literally a nuclear physicist. And he had been hired away from San Diego to move to the University of Florida to start their nuclear physicist research department. So here's the kid. He gets to town. He goes to the music store, because we finally have a music store there in Gainesville, and says, "Who's the best guitar player in Gainesville?" They tell him me. They give him my mom's home phone number, because I used to work in this music store teaching there. Bernie calls and says, is Don there? I'd like to see him and meet him. She says, "No, he's coming in on the bus today at 4 o'clock. And so Bernie drives down and picks me up at the bus station. I get in his car. He drives me home. In the back of his car, he had this fantastic Martin acoustic guitar. And he brought it into my bedroom, and he sat there and just played the most incredible flat-picking country, like Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs would play, and sang country music. And I went, "Wow, that's amazing." I didn't even own an acoustic guitar at that point. I was all rock and roll. I was playing Buddy Holly and all the people that were playing rock and roll in those days, learning to play B.B. King and Albert King and those kind of blues artists. And so we went down to the music store and got Bernie an electric guitar, and I bought an acoustic guitar. So we put together two bands. We had a country bluegrass band that would play during the week, like on Wednesday nights. Bernie would play 5-string banjo, I played flat-top acoustic guitar, and we had a mandolin player that would play mandolin. And so we would all sing and work up all these country songs. It was fun. On the weekends, Friday, Saturday, we had this band, the Continentals, which actually changed into a band called the Mondi Quintet. And we would play fraternity parties Friday and Saturday night at the University of Florida, or we'd go out and play Dub Steer Room, which was, we were way too young to be working in a place that was serving, liquor and steaks. But in those days, you just went to the back door, you got walked in and you played and left, So we would play these kind of, clubs. I think Petty played out there after we did. And we'd go over Daytona Beach in the summer and work, since the fraternities would all be out, we'd work over there, the dance clubs over there, the pier, all the little places where you could play and make some money. Became friends with the Allman Brothers, Greg and Dwayne. Their mother had a house there, so when Bernie and I were playing over there after the show, we'd just go grab a breakfast with Greg and Dwayne at 1 or 2 in the morning, whatever time it was, we got off, and then we'd go over to their mom's house and crash on their couch or, a pallet somewhere on the floor. And that's really where Dwayne taught me how to play slide. He would sit in the corner and play. I said, "You got to show me how to do. What is that?"
Wow.
So he would show me how to play slide guitar, which later was the key factor in me getting into the Eagles, to tell you the truth, knowing how to play slide guitar.
Okay.
So anyway, after that band broke up, Bernie moved back to California and joined a band called Hearts and Flowers, and he was in another band called the Flying Burrito Brothers. And every time he would come through New York, where I was, or Boston, where I had moved, he'd call me up, and I'd go down and see whatever band he was playing with. Like, my high school buddy is coming through town, so we'd go hang out, and I'd play with him backstage. And so he called me once and said, "Oh, I'm coming through Boston. We're opening for Yes." And so I went down to see his band. It was called the Eagles, and they were, playing with Yes. I went backstage and played with Bernie like we always do, and played some slide guitar, and we played some flat top guitar together, and just goofing around, having fun. And Glenn was like, "Wow, you should move to California, man. You can definitely play." So Bernie kept calling me and going, the music business is not in Boston. It's not in New York City. Right now, the music business is in L.A. You need to move to L.A. So eventually I had been working in the recording studio in Boston for about 3 years. I was making $50 a week, working 6 days a week. But it wasn't about the money. It was about having a recording studio at my disposal, learning how to compose, learning how to write, learning how to mic, learning how to engineer, learning how to produce, learning how to mix, basically learning how to make records. And that time I spent there was really invaluable to me, because it gave me a really great understanding of how to make records. And so when I moved to L.A., I had a great arsenal of talent that I could write, engineer, produce, play live, you name it. I could do sessions, and so I wound up playing with, ironically enough, this band called Crosby Nash. While Stephen Stills had gone out on a solo run, they needed somebody in the band, so I wound up kind of emulating Stephen's parts, and it should have been Crosby, Felder, and Nash, but it wasn't really that. It was really David and Graham, who were fantastic, and to this day we remain friends.
Awesome.
Close partners, and just love each other, So anyway, they gave me a shot, and I played with them, and then we were all back off the road. The Eagles were in town working on another record, and I was hanging out with Bernie, and the next day I got a call saying, we want you to come in and play slide guitar on this track.
Wow. So
I went in, just hung out with these guys. I jammed with them at rehearsal, played backstage with them. It wasn't like, oh my God, it's the Eagles. It was just a bunch of friends I know, So I went in, took my slide guitar, played slide guitar for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. They got what they wanted. I packed up and gave everybody a hug and left. And the next day I got a call from Glenn asking me to join the band. And of course I said yes and joined the band. And kind of ever since, it's, you know the history of what happened.
Yeah, I do. I sure do. And it's crazy to think that all started because of a couple of cherry bombs.
That's right. I'm really glad that I got rid of them, because I met someone later who was a guitar tech. I think it was one of Joe Walsh's guitar tech that was missing his first, second, and third finger.
Wow.
He had a thumb and a pinky on one hand from playing with firecrackers like that.
There you
and
go.
I went, that might have been the smartest thing I ever did, was get rid of those cherry bombs and got a guitar instead.
Absolutely. All right, and we're going to continue this interview right after these messages.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take 1.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the Angry Giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media, the future of broadcasting. Listen live at phoenixmedia.us.
Welcome back to Beacon Rewind with Tim Nydell. So far, we've been enjoying my interview I did with Don Felder, which, amazing guy. I love it when people don't give you much time to talk. You just sit there and just listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It makes it very easy.
It does make it easy. And like I said, I am a huge fan of his work currently and in the past. So just to sit there, and kind of remember that I was a kid when I fell in love with his band. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I adored their music. Do you remember when you were a kid, the first time you heard the Eagles? At least, one of the first times. What really drew you to them?
Probably my dad, because
same.
my dad was in a lot of bands, and like when he wasn't playing on stage, he was playing songs, and he loved that Americana sort of sound. So a lot of the Eagles was thanks to him.
Exactly, same for me too. My dad, he loved the old 60s, 70s music, and listened to it all the time. Then my brother and I got involved in listening, and there was a tape at some point of my brother and I sitting in front of our Casio cassette player with our microphone and singing Take It Easy. And we were both kind of taking the parts and everything. And I really wish I can find that. If I did find it, I would definitely play it right now. But that right there is the earliest memory I have of the Eagles, was that instance of my brother and I. I was probably 6 or 7, maybe.
Right.
And he's probably 9.
Mm-hmm.
And their music is just feel-good music.
Yeah, and that's a great memory to have too. If you guys were nailing the 2-part harmonies, that's pretty impressive.
I highly doubt that.
Right? It's hard to do.
It really is. God, and I just remember now my biggest memory of the Eagles as a kid. Not really a kid. I was a teenager. Well, I guess 12. I guess preteen. We took a vacation to Florida when I was 12. And I remember during that flight and everything, I had my little cassette player, with my headphones and all. Maybe a CD player. I don't remember at what point I had a CD player. But I had the Eagles on there. And I just listened to Hotel California over and over and over again. That's the only song I remember listening to on that whole trip. And it was a long trip, too. It's a long song, so it didn't feel as many minutes as other songs would have. But that is another great memory of mine, is listening to that song. And I don't know if everybody listening knows this, but we wouldn't have that song without Don Felder. That song it could be a different song, but it would not sound the same, because he used to do these riffs and record them at his home studio and send it along to Don Henley and Glenn Frey to check out to see if they want to write lyrics over them, because they were the lyricists. How do you say that, Gary?
Lyricists.
Thank you. So he wrote these riffs and everything, and according to the documentary, The History of the Eagles, which I highly, highly recommend, Don Henley said that Don Felder would do that all the time, and a good percentage of them they didn't use because it was just repetitive stuff, I guess. Just stuff they really couldn't write lyrics over, I guess.
Right.
But he said when he heard this one riff, just the beginning riff of Hotel California, he knew that was going to be a hit, and he went in there and wrote lyrics over what Don Felder gave him. So without Don Felder, Hotel California would not be the same song. And I don't know about you, but those guitars in that song really make that song.
Yeah, they do. They do. I think they make the song more than anything else does.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, I love the lyrics. I love the mystery behind the lyrics and everything. But that when you first hear the first couple of seconds, man, I get goosebumps.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's funny to think that if it weren't for that song, their second career might have never really happened.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I mean, they might have been stopped dead after they dropped the country.
Yeah. It was that song that really drove them further into the career. So, all right, let's finish off my interview with Don Felder, where he's talking about his brand new album, which not super brand new. It came out last year. The album is called American Rock and Roll. I highly recommend it. It actually really is a good album. It really is. So here you go. Let's finish off my interview with Don Felder real quick. Like I said earlier in the beginning of the interview, I am in love with your new solo album, American Rock and Roll. What kind of stuff were you going through when you wrote all the lyrics and wrote the music for this album? What kind of things internally were you going through?
You know, it's interesting because I never set out with a storyline when I write. A lot of times I'll have a phrase, I'll have a lyric, I'll have a guitar lick, I'll have a piece of something. And without having a concept for what this whole thing should be, I just let things come. Let lyrics come, let guitar parts come, the way it produces, who I use on the record. Things just kind of come naturally that way. I don't really sit down with a preconceived idea of exactly what I want to write. Like, for some of the songs on this thing, they were just memories of a story. Like, there's a song on there called Little Latin Lover. A friend of mine and I flew down to Buenos Aires, and he owned a polo team and wanted to go down and check out some polo ponies and blah, blah, blah. So we go to this. His girlfriend down there, by the way, who is stunningly beautiful, was a tango instructor. So she takes us over to this tango parlor. I don't know if you've ever seen one. It's like a big, huge oval room with a dance floor as an oval in the middle of the room. All around the outside of the dance floor are tables where people are sitting and having their dinner and drinking wine, and it's very civilized, very culturally elite. And dancing by you very slowly and very erotically are these women and men doing this just really sensuous dance, the tango, maybe the creme de la creme of exotic dancing. And I'm sitting there watching that and going, you know, this is a song right here.
Yeah.
I'm witnessing a song.
Yep.
So I start writing on a napkin there, you know, about tango and the dance and their skirts spinning by as they go, and all the heads looking at this one woman when she goes by. You can see the whole room following her because she's such a great dancer and so beautiful. So, you know, something like that happens. I was flipping through a bunch of pages and pictures back in the 70s. I came across this picture of me standing on stage with the giant long hair and the beard. And must have been about 74 or early 75, something like that. And we were playing in Wembley Stadium with Elton John. And there was about 110,000 people at this event. I'm standing on stage looking out at this just massive sea of people and wanted to write a stadium rock anthem. Well, what would that be? What would I do? So I came up with this idea for a song called Rock You. And wrote the guitar parts, the tracks, wrote all the lyrics. And I went, you know, I'd really like to have another really strong rock voice sing on this with me, like a rock duet, not with a woman, but, you know, two guys singing it. So I called up my friend Sammy Hagar, and he agreed to sing on it. I flew up to his studio, and we threw his voice on, threw my voice on. We got Joe Satriani, who lives up there, to come in and play guitar with me on it, who's an incredible rock guitar player. And I have been in many, many sessions in my life and my career. But to be in the control room standing right next to Joe Satriani, and he plays something, and I got to play something, and he plays something, and we got to play harmonies together, it was quite a daunting situation.
All right, and so that was my time with Don Felder. Like I said, big fan of his work, and please check out his solo album, American Rock and Roll. Came out in 2019. Here's just a little tease of one of the tracks, and it's one of my favorites on the album. It sounds pretty good. Like a little mixture of like metal and rock. I like that.
Yeah.
So nice. That's just a little tease. Check out donfelder.com for more information. Anything to add?
I don't think so.
You suck as a coach. I'm just kidding.
No. Well, I mean, just looking at the list of artists on that album, I got to check it out. Because, I mean, in addition to Joe Satriani and Sammy Hagar, it's Slash and it's Mick Fleetwood and Chad Smith.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Several other artists.
It's impressive, man. And what's sad about that documentary I told you about, Don Henley and Glenn Frey didn't really think he did much as a solo artist after the Eagles broke up in 1980, and that's not true. He actually had a good solo career. So I don't know what they were really talking about, because he was on heavy metal. One of my guilty pleasures for animated movies, heavy metal, where he did this song right here. Starts off really slow. It's building up. Here it comes. Wait. This was his song for heavy metal. Mm-hmm. Great song, man.
He did 2 songs for heavy metal.
He did 2 songs. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
This is my favorite one of the 2.
Yeah.
But let's just dwell on the song just a little bit. All right, I guess we'll stop it right there because we do need to take a break, so we'll be right back.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopRex.org, brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool, and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org, brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us.
Welcome back to Be Kind Rewind, the Eagles edition, Don Felder edition. Love listening to Don Felder talk about his childhood, about how he got his guitar and everything. And what about Gary? What about you? Do you have any like Eagles stories? Anything really stick out when you think of the Eagles?
I have so many actually, and all of it ties to being a musician for me. I can tell you one of the first things that, like when my dad started teaching me how to play guitar, one of the first songs he taught me how to play was Lion Eyes, which was really fun. And then I remember I don't think it was career day, but it was one of those similar days. He and I played for my school. We played a whole slew of songs, but I remember we did Take It Easy and that. And I was playing drums, he was playing guitar, and also, wow, I just remembered I also did for, I think it was English class, we were supposed to do like some sort of performance art version of poetry or whatever. So I chose The Last Resort, which has always been one of my favorite Eagles songs, and just one of my favorite songs in general. And I had to change some of the lyrics because I went to a Christian school, and the line about Jesus people and a few other things they didn't take too kindly on.
Well, do you remember what you changed the lines to?
No, I don't. No, I really wish I did. I probably got the paper somewhere.
Yeah.
And if I find it, I'll share it with you. But no, I think I changed it to business people instead of Jesus people.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. But I remember it was the most elaborate and overdone thing that I probably ever did in high school, because I brought my drums in and my friend brought his keyboard in, and we did this for like, of course it's an 8-minute song, so if there was one that I was going to do it, at least do it for a long one. really show off.
Why not?
Yeah. But like, yeah, just they're a band that I don't play a lot of their stuff now, but at one point, whenever I was just getting started in music, I was all about doing some Eagles songs.
Yeah, I do spurts. I don't listen to them every day. I don't listen to them every week and all, but I go through little spurts where I need to hear me some Eagles. So I have an Eagles playlist on my phone that I just pop on, and it's got a ton of songs in there because they have amazing little catalog to choose from. So one of my favorite memories of the Eagles for me, besides the childhood memories, is a recent one. I think it was like maybe 4 years ago now. I was watching the documentary that I've referenced 2 or 3 times already, and I was like, you know what? I wonder if they're touring right now. And this is like 1:00 in the morning when I had this idea. So I went on their website, and sure enough, they're touring, and they were close enough to me, about 5 hours away, which I'm in Montana, so that's next door, honestly, to me.
Right.
And I went on the venue's website, and it said it was sold out. And it's a big old arena, huge arena, probably about 12,000 people, and sold out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to call the venue. I don't care if it's 1:30 in the morning. I'm going to call the venue. So I called the venue. He's like, no, sorry, man. It's sold out. I'm surprised somebody answered the phone. I really don't know why somebody was there at 1:30 answering the phone, the ticket line at 1:30 in the morning. Wow. But they said, you know what? Let me check real quick. And he said, I'll put you on hold. I think it's on hold for maybe about 17 minutes. He comes back on. He's like, you know what? You won't believe it, but there's one ticket left in the whole arena. And he says, now, bad news is it's not the cheap seats. It was a really good seat. It's probably the second best seat in the arena. The first best seat would be in the front row, which I looked up those prices, and they cost about $1,500 per ticket. And I got so mad when I looked down there. I see a family of like 5 down there. It's like, how do you afford that? Your kids are like 5 years old. Are they going to appreciate this music? I hope they did. I mean, I would have as a kid, so I hope they did. Yeah, but seriously. I digress. So I was like, I was like, how much? He's like, well, I think it was about $375 or something. I think it was around that price, which is a hefty price to pay for one ticket. Sure. Especially since I still had to drive 5 hours, get a hotel and that kind of stuff. And I was like, you know what? It's my birthday. It's a sign that when I call you, you say you have one more left, and let's do it. So I did it. So glad I did. Amazing seat. And I think it was maybe 6 or 7 months later, Glenn Frey passed away. So I never would have that opportunity that I would have wanted. Now, they're still alive. They're still playing music today, touring today. Right. They've had Glenn's son is playing on there, and Vince Gill is playing there. And I hear it's still amazing. But it just wouldn't be the same without Glenn Frey during my concert.
No, I got to see him back. I guess it was 2003 for the Farewell 1 tour, the first of many farewell tours. And I knew something was up because they were like, "We're going to premiere a new song for you guys tonight." I'm like, "Isn't this the end?" Huh? And then they premiered "Hole in the World," which is not their greatest song.
No, it's
neither
not.
is the whole album that came out after.
No, I have that one. It's not nearly as good, but at least they don't really play anything else besides that one song live.
Right.
So
yeah, but that was really cool. I mean, if I had never had the chance to see Glenn live, that would have been heartbreaking.
Yeah, it was an amazing show. And I guess that's going to do for this episode, because we are going to finish strong by playing at least my favorite Eagles song. So, Gary, again, where can people find you?
I'm on Instagram at The Real Gary Lane. That's Lane. And that's about the only place that I actually am findable. So,
And you can find me at timnydell.com. You can find me on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just type in my name, Tim Nydell. And find me at Tim_Nydell. And I guess we're going to close off with Hotel California. A song, like I said, we wouldn't have without Don Felder, because this first couple seconds, man, that is pure Don Felder right there. So we'll talk to you guys next time.
champagne on ice, and she said, "We are all just prisoners here of our own device. And in the master's chambers, they're gathered for their feast. They stab it with their steely knives, but they just can't